by the blood of our people are your lands kept safe.
I see in your eyes the same fear that will take the heart of me.
So do all who live to see such times.
By all that you hold dear, this good earth.
There's some good in this world, and it's worth fighting.
And I initially thought those masks they were wearing were orc masks.
So
And the music was a bit ominos too, so it seemed like a bit of a fake out.
it straight up does look like that. You're right. It's definitely a fake out. I don't know if you've seen the movie Midsummer or Midsommar. It's a horror movie. This has that same vibe where everyone's in like this weird, not trance-like state, but just like they're in this very festival themed thing where they've got these masks on. They're doing these kind of dances. And ironically or unironically, in that movie, they do end up killing off elders who can't keep up with like the workload. And
So they pulled us right from that.
so it has that vibe, and then we eventually get to that too. So
Okay. Well, then we have Nori's dad, Largo Brandyfoot, talking to his wife, Marigold, and he mentions losing someone named Rose.
mhm.
He met Marigold, so I wonder if that was the first wife of Largo, and could that be Nori's mother?
Oh,
Rose be Nori's mother? That's what I
true.
thought, maybe.
True. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
I didn't think about that. It seems like it does seem like this is her mother, just the way that they speak. We haven't really heard Nori say like, "You're not my real mom" or anything like, cliche like that.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's definitely and you mentioned this earlier on, but there's definitely a cultural thing with each character we go to. I like that world building. The Harfoot's culture is freaking dark. It's straight up.
Very dark.
It's straight up harsh. It seems so fun loving and carefree, and then it's just boom. You're right into the nitty gritty in it, and it's like, no, I don't want to be with these guys.
You know, what's the U.S. Army? Nobody's left behind. The opposite.
This is the exact opposite. But here, so this is a bit of a tangent
well,
again.
Well, that was also I was interrupting. This is isn't that the pirate code from Pirates of the Caribbean? He fell behind. Where's Jack? He fell behind.
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely a pirate code.
We keep to the code. He fell behind.
But the code is more like guidelines, really. But yeah, like these hobbits or Harfoots, they claim like, oh, we've got to stick together to survive, but then they straight up don't. It's so harsh. But we're not quite there yet. So we start off with Nori has this idea that she might learn more about this meteor man from her. I guess he's like the leader of the Harfoots. This Sadak Burrows character. He's got like this book of like star charts, and he reads them, and then he tells them when to move on. She wants to read the book herself, obviously. I'm with her on that. And maybe there's something in there about people that fall from the sky and what they're up to, because she's got this sense that he's magical, which I don't know why we keep beating around the bush. He's clearly magical. Even her mom is kind of weird
Do you
about
think you're special? Do you think you're special, Nori?
it. No, I'm not
Like,
special, but he is.
I'm like, oh yeah, it seems clear. He's probably special. People don't just fall from the stars unless they're special.
Well, because they even talked to Sadak about it, and he's like, "Well, I've heard of people turning into stars, but never the other way around." And it's like, oh man, and this is a very rare event. We should maybe not just dip him in the woods and run. But I will say, Harfoots, like hobbits, try to stay out of trouble. So even if he is special, that most Harfoots still would rather not get involved. You know what I mean? So I it's not like I disagree with the characters and I can make fun of them, but I get why a lot of them are nervous. It's in their nature, and obviously Nori has a bit of a wild side, similar to her father.
Yeah. But yeah, Nori is trying to get Sadek's book of star charts to help the stranger. That's what I.
Yeah, we get this comedic scene, which I'll allow it. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah, that is fun. Yeah.
like she's hiding underneath the desk. Her friend has to kind of both distract Sadek, but also help her because she can't see where her hand is to grab the piece of paper. So she
Left,
has to
right,
say left, right, straight while she's also distracting. I think that's kind of fun. I'll let it go. I'm a bit too heavy criticizing dialogue these days, so I think this one's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, the culture of leaving behind Harfoots who fall behind, and then we find out that Poppy's family all perished.
Which is just
on the
brutal,
migration.
by the way. Like, I can't
Yeah.
believe she hasn't been adopted. She's on her own.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it almost seems like Nori's family pseudo-adopted her, but
Yes,
she has her own caravan
that she has to pull.
that she has to
herself,
pull
yeah.
herself. So she had to make her own caravan that's small enough that she can pull, but also has all her stuff and that she can hide in. That's so sad. Like, this is just so harsh. Like, thinking back to the Shire and then like looking at this, I
Yeah.
can't believe that these guys, like, this is brutal. I know we're like way in the past, but still, it gets so miserable. The scene was just, heart wrenching at times.
Yeah.
But I did actually have another joke about this scene. Normally, when you do like in memoriam, you don't say how they died. You don't. You know what I mean? You don't go crushed by rocks. Oh, that was so sad. Or stung by a bee. What an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, what
We
is
all
with
loved-
that?
Everyone laughs at that one guy.
Yeah,
He
we all loved him, but he was an idiot. And then he like lists all of like, hey, oh, someone else got eaten by a wolf. Like, why? Why would you? You don't have to say that. Just say you're in our memories. You know what I mean? Just be.
And then they all chant, "We wait for you."
Which-
We couldn't wait for them in life.
So,
but now-
which is so strange, right? So it's like we can't wait for you in life, but now that you're dead, we're gonna like remember you. And the phrase we use is "we'll wait for you" like now, and I just can't like why not help each other? I just don't understand.
Yeah.
It's such a harsh society. Like Hobbits used to be my favorite back in the original trilogy. Like I loved looking at their little shire and what's going on there. This is, I thought it was all going to be fun like that. This is brutal. This is straight up brutal.
Yeah. But then the stranger arrives and he looks at the chart and he sets it on fire accidentally. And then there's kind of a chaos ensues. He's trying to put it out, and he just trips and he knocks everything over. And he stands up and he's got like he's got the tent over his head, and everyone screams. And then he asks for Nori, throws her under the bus.
So he's still like got amnesia, but he like knows her name.
Yeah.
And he was reading that weird star sign that some people think means Gandalf, or like is Gandalf's symbol. But one thing that I don't get about this whole setup is these Harfoots, they're trained to like hide at the slightest noise. He's out there burning this piece of paper, stumbling around. Imagine if that was a warg. They're all dead. You know what I mean? Like, how did they not hear him walking? I just don't get that. He got so close to them that they should be dead. Like, they really let their guard down during this sort of remembrance ceremony.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, you're right. He throws Nori under the bus, and we get a nice moment. So I really didn't like this Sadok guy at all, but we do get a nice moment from him where a bunch of people want to throw them out of the caravan. Now, I don't like. Were they thinking of throwing out the entire Brandyfoot community, like family? Because it seems that way, right? Like it's like, oh, she's out of the caravan, but then when he says no, she's young, she made a mistake, the Brandyfoot caravan can continue with us. It's like, wait, were you gonna like kill, like basically sentence her parents, her sibling, all to death because her? Like, it seemed weird to me. I don't know. Did you get that vibe, or did you?
No, I thought it would just be her.
Me too. But then they say the Brandyfoot caravan will
They
come
punish
with
the whole,
us.
but they end up punishing the whole caravan.
But then they end up
instead.
punishing them all anyway by basically saying you're in the back. I do like that idea though. I like that the dad had a plan. If he's in the front, he can control the pace of the caravan, and so if he's going slow, he can't get left behind because he's in the front. But when you're in the back, if you are slow, then you're done for. And that's when the mom freaks out because she basically was like, yeah, that's the only way we survive is if we are in the front.
Yeah.
There's a funny line there as well. I don't know if you caught it as so right after the sentence comes down, so Sadok says you're in the back, and then we get a really kind of weird, like Largo goes running after him. And when you say the back, do you mean the back or like mid back?
I missed that.
Rewatch that scene. It's in the background. If you have subtitles on, it might say it, but it was really funny to me because I'm like, this is a serious scene, and then Largo goes completely like over the top comedy. Yeah, he just goes running after Sadok to be like back or mid back, and then Sadok I think answers just back. Now Nori plays this cool though because she slips up, she says we, but then she plays it off as meaning herself and the Meteor Man. So she does not throw her friend under the bus, which is really good. So like good on her, well done. The Meteor Man, he's just a bum. I don't know what his deal is. Does he have powers? Like, what are his powers? What's he doing? Why does he have such severe amnesia?
I feel like the stranger at this point realizes that he had caused some trouble.
Yes. So yeah, because he's on the rock. He's kind of like sad, like watching this whole thing unfold. I think he does realize he's caused trouble, but what is going on? Like, does he need a magical spell to like reignite his mind? Like, it's just so confusing. He can barely speak. He can only say Nori and friend.
Yep.
So he can't even speak common or English, like anything. So he
speaks Firefly.
He speaks, so he could speak to nature, but he can't speak to higher intelligence beings for some reason. Not yet, anyway.
We end up back in Numenor, right? And we learn Isildur's sister's name is Aarian.
Yeah, that is a hard one to say. And we get some family some family situations coming up where, this guy, poor Elendil, he's trying to get his children on the right path, but both Isildur, Isildur's older brother, and then this, how do you say it? Aarian? She like none of them are cooperating, and he's like, you guys, you have expectations, and Isildur, you in particular, have been basically dropping everything you said you were gonna do. You are going through with this cadet program, like you are going to do this because every time we put you into something, you drop it later on. So he kind of feels like this spoiled rich kid that just doesn't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? At least that's the vibe I get. Maybe other people like him more. I really don't like Isildur right now. Potentially clouded from knowing what happens. You know what I mean? Like knowing the history of what's going to happen to this guy. But I just don't like this character right now.
Right, and it goes on to he's got his mind elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what was going on the boat.
That's
too.
right.
And something about the West Coast, and there's nothing for us there.
So they're on the East Coast, so they're closest to Middle Earth, if you orient yourself. And so they have friends on the north. So the north is going to come down in 9 days to do a celebration for Isildur. But the west, which is where we dropped Galadriel off, that's where also the Queen Regent lives. They are, and it was pretty clear, they are not that friendly with like with the East. So, there's some weird politics going on here. We're not quite sure just yet how it all shapes up. But essentially, he's saying you got to stay away from that area of the island. You're not welcome there. I've been there. I got a really cold reception from the Queen. You need to stay around here and either be a captain, or I think he said at one point he was gonna be some sort of horse master or something like that. And he got into a fight with some Queen's guards for some reason.
Yeah.
So this kid is kind of
and yeah, there's it seems like he's not very good at taking responsibility for things he's done. Yeah, and then the sister gets accepted to the Builders Guild. It's kind of a proud moment. Then he looks back and Isildur's not there.
Oh, yeah, because Isildur told her to reapply, and somehow it worked the second time. But basically, he can help others. He can kind of see the solutions to other people's problems, but he's got his mind he can't really focus on himself or take responsibility, like you said. So there's that moment where the father's praising his daughter. The daughter then says, "Well, Isildur is the one who told me to even reapply." He looks back, and Isildur has left because he's upset he got scolded. So there's definitely some family drama here. I think Elendil is still playing this. Maybe he could do better, but he's trying to do his best for his kids. He really wants them to succeed, and he's worried that if they don't follow through on some of these things, that the family name might go to ruin and they might lose everything that they have. So he's really trying to get them to continue to be able to live these lifestyles that they're used to. So I feel bad for him. I do hope that we get more of this, because I actually really like Elendil having to deal with all this stuff. I think it really gives his character a lot to work with, and I like to see how this character grows.
Yeah. Now we're back to Halbrand in jail, and Galadriel comes to see him.
This is the big reveal, right? So this is
she's Galadriel looked up the crest the pin he was wearing in that little bag, and it's the sign of the King of the Southlands.
So Halbrand first tries to play this off as well, I just stole it from a dead body.
Well, here's the trick. Maybe he did. Maybe he's not lying, and he's just Sauron. He killed this king, took his crest, and then went to sea to meet Galadriel.
Yeah, no, you could be honest.
And then in the end, he'll be like, "I told you, I just took it off a dead man." That's what I'm saying.
Well, and he does say, "I'm not the hero you think I am," or something like that. And it's well, maybe he's telling the truth in that scene. Yeah. And it's one of those "I told you not to trust me" moments, Littlefinger style.
That's what I'm thinking. We're taking this from Littlefinger. Yeah.
But the thing is, he's too he's not Littlefingery. He has no other things to manage to help his scheme out. You know what I mean? All he has is Galadriel. So the big scheme would be essentially save Galadriel from drowning, use the fact that he has an elf as passage to Numenor to then corrupt Numenor. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
That's a crazy plan. But then again, maybe.
Well, I don't know. I think his plan is just to taunt Galadriel. He's just playing with his food, basically.
So he saved her just to continue to taunt her.
Yeah, he's just interested. He's not going to kill her. It's not ready.
I will say that is interesting. If that happens and that's the reveal, and if they can make it work, that's pretty good. It just seems so weird. Let her die from her own stupidity. If that's there's no better way to have Galadriel die than have her own fault. Be tying yourself to a rock.
Yeah.
So then we get a little moment with the Queen in her bed chamber.
Well, hold on. I wanted to talk about I think they're pulling parallels to Aragorn. My blood is weak.
Yes. Oh, you're right, dude. Yeah, I think we should talk about it because they're clearly doing the parallel there. And the big difference is, and I will say some of the similarities are they both are reluctant heroes, at least seemingly from Halbrand's. Like we don't know the character enough yet. The big difference though is that Halbrand's ancestors actively joined Morgoth in battle, whereas Isildur was corrupted by the ring in the moment. He actually fought against Sauron, right? So there is a difference there, but I agree that there's huge parallels, and it will be interesting to see if they do take it in the same direction, or if they flip it, or if it's a complete fake out.
Yeah, and Galadriel wants to redeem her bloodline too.
Yeah, I don't get that. So she makes a comment saying, so he's like, we fought for Morgoth, and she's like, well, we started the war. And I was like, wait, did you? I thought Morgoth did. And you guys were just fighting back. So I don't really understand Galadriel's point there. Am I missing something? I'm not. I thought she wants to redeem. Maybe she feels like her brother in a weird, twisted way. Well, even though he has nothing to be redeemed for, like he died what he set out to do, and she's continuing this quest for her own mental state, essentially. Like she's now just on her own mission, unsanctioned by the king. I don't think she has anything to, her bloodline has nothing to be redeemed for other than her own current actions. Like she's already currently like going against what she's supposed to be doing.
She says her people started this war.
Yeah.
But did they?
I'm confused about that. So if they did, let us know in the comments down below. If they did, I don't see it that way. To me, I think Morgoth is a little bit more to blame, but even if they did start the war, I don't see how starting another one helps. You know what I mean? Like, so her whole idea is like, help me, I'm going to get us an army, and we're going to go fight the evil, and that will redeem both you from siding with the enemy and me from starting the war. How will this redeem you, Galadriel? You're just going to kill more enemies. I don't quite get it.
And then we're back to Muriel. I'll let you take that.
Yeah, we get her kind of going. What does she say in that room? I don't even remember. She's going up to a tower.
She's like talking to her father. We don't know if she's talking to her father or she's talking to herself. Like she's talking to kind of spiritually. And she says the moment we feared is here, that elf has arrived.
Yeah. So this could be where we now understand why she's the Queen Regent. So perhaps she's talking to a father that is so encumbered by illness that he can't rule, and so she's ruling in his stead until.
But she wouldn't be queen, she'd be more a princess if that was the case.
That's what I'm confused about. That's why I'm so confused. Like, who is she regenting? Who is she talking to?
Yeah.
Or is she talking to herself? But I don't think she is. I think she is talking to someone, because it's got this kind of ominous. She's like walking up this like spiral staircase. She's on this, not a mission, but like she's walking with purpose. And then she says that. So they clearly had like some sort of prophecy or something to signal
about an elf arriving. Yeah, something. Yeah.
Which might. So we learn a little bit that Numenor closed their ports to the elves for some reason. And we thought maybe it was because the elves were being kind of egotistical or something. It might have been some prophecy or some thought that elves would bring about the doom of Numenor or something. And so they decided, let's just get rid of all elves from the premises and don't let them in. And then this single elf gets rescued, and now she's kind of freaking out, like this is what the prophecy was saying, not some random elf trading ship. This elf here is now fulfilling that prophecy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're not really sure what's going on there. We didn't really get enough time with the queen to really get a sense of her. We kind of get that she's on a bit of a power trip, but other than that, we don't know too much.
Yeah. Then we go back to the Harfoots, and
we see their caravan in full swing.
they're falling behind.
Oh, they're
But then-
way behind. They're done. like, if this is what they mean to fall behind, they are straight up done. Poppy, who lost her entire family to this, stays behind to help them. Poppy is my second favorite character, because, damn, the fact that she's still helping Nori when Nori's been in nothing but a pain in her butt, and then Nori like threatens to like rat her out for some like little mischievous thing she did. Like Nori,
Yes.
you're like, come on, Nori, what are you doing?
That's how she got her to help her.
Yeah, like basically Poppy was like, Nori, you gotta leave this guy. He's going to like basically make you disowned from your family or like banished from the tribe or whatever. That's what almost happens. So Poppy was right. And then they're gonna lag behind, and this is kind of like the joke we were making last episode, and I even did like a little spoof video of it where I joke about the hobbits not helping each other. But they have this festival, the guy breaks his leg because nobody helps him, and then they just leave him to die in the back of the pack. I don't get this. How?
Yeah.
So let's say the Harfoot or the Brandyfoots, not the Harfoots, the Brandyfoots make it all the way to the glade. That's where they're going, right? They're going to some glade to wait out the winter. How can you be friends with anyone in that group, like in this caravan? Like they left you to die. You didn't die, so good on you. But the fact that they chose to put you in the back, knowing you would struggle, basically hoping you would die, it's so brutal.
Back or the middle back.
Watch it again. I will find it. I will just put up a little YouTube short of it. It's in the background audio, but if you listen closely, you can hear it. It's so strange because it's supposed to be such a serious moment, and it just back or middle back. But anyway, we get so Poppy comes to help them a little bit, which is good on Poppy again, and I'm like, okay, Poppy, just put your shit in their caravan and like help them, because clearly Nori can't carry anything. What's her name? The wife's name? I forget the wife's name. Marigold? Yes. Marigold can't carry anything. The other Brandyfoot, what's the other Brandyfoot's name? Dilly Brandyfoot is super young, can't do nothing. Poppy's gonna basically have to carry the Brandyfoot caravan at this point.
And her own caravan.
So I'm saying just put her stuff, leave her caravan. Although I like her caravan, it's like a little turtle shell. But put her stuff in their caravan and carry it for them, because the entire Brandyfoot clan are weak. I don't understand how the four of them can't pull that caravan. And Poppy's pulling her own caravan. So you guys, like, if anyone deserves to be left behind, if that's the society you're in, you guys are screwed without Poppy. But luckily, Poppy doesn't have to do that, because I guess somehow Meteor Man, what are we calling this guy? We're not calling him Meteor Man, we're calling him the Stranger.
The Stranger, yes.
Okay, the Stranger is a stowaway on their caravan,
Yeah,
which
they're pulling the damn Stranger.
they're pulling a tight 200-pound man, maybe less, maybe more, hard to say. I can't judge his height. That's the problem. They're pulling this guy, let's say 180, still. That's a lot of weight to add to your already bloated caravan of all, like, Largo's trinkets that he likes to come up with. So Nori is like, I'll just get this guy to pull our caravan, as if bringing the Stranger to the glade is gonna somehow be okay with all the other Harfoots. I don't understand how they think this is gonna work. But then I don't know if
this is their revenge moment. Like, you're gonna leave us behind. We're just gonna bring the Stranger.
yeah, the Stranger is now in charge.
Yeah.
But okay, as we pan out of this situation, it turns out that the Stranger isn't pulling the caravan; he's pushing it. What the heck? They didn't even do it right, and it looks like Marigold is sitting on top. Are you kidding me, Marigold? You need to do something.
Oh, I missed her sitting on top. That's funny.
So okay, it's because I freeze framed it because I wanted the still from it. It's at like 59 minutes.
But
and 55
I did
seconds.
remember he was pushing.
Yeah, and poor Poppy is still pulling her own caravan by herself, and it's just, what is going on with these Harfoots? Oh man, I can see why people had such a problem with Harfoots. But anyway, we don't have to deal with that too much longer. We're now back to some crazy shenanigans going down with the elves.
Yes, the captive ones in the south.
Yeah. So
that's when they have the elf prison riot.
yeah. So I was surprised that this. So this is what I was saying before, where when they cut their companions.
That sounds right. I don't remember. I didn't write it down.
I think it was Medor. When he dies, I thought that should trigger a riot. So I would have maybe reversed it and had maybe them like whip them a little bit, then say cut the tree down, and then have them do this kill them prison riot. But yeah, the riot happens. The elves do some cool moves. I'm mostly okay with these moves. I thought I was gonna be goofy. I actually do like this fight scene though. I like the chain use. I like the fact that the elves are much more acrobatic. I like the idea of trying to break these
Arendir is acrobatic. The other two, the female elf and
Okay,
the
yeah,
other guy,
sure.
they just get disemboweled immediately by the warg.
Yeah. Now it's also funny. So I don't know if this. Okay, it's not funny. It's a little bit funny. So they're breaking the chains, right? And the warden, Revion, he's got a plan. We're gonna bunch all our chains up together, and we're gonna cut through them like this. Which I'm not sure if that's a great plan. I'm not really commenting on that. But he breaks through one chain, and it releases one of the elf prisoners. Now I know he said someone get to the top of the cliff to see where we're going, but we already did that. So we've already seen where the tree line is, right?
I think he's just trying to make a break for it.
He's just trying to make a. Well, this
If
elf gets.
just one of them makes it, but yeah, you're
Maybe.
right.
So this elf gets free, and instead of like help, maybe you're right. Maybe the plan was if anyone gets free, go for it. He gets free. He's running up, and then he just gets hit in the back with like a throwing axe, something like that. But I thought it was weird that he just dipped. I thought the elf would probably stay and fight, but you could be right. I think maybe that was like a someone has to get out of here and tell the rest of the elves what's going on. And then we see some elves kind of getting caught on their own chains and getting dragged. It's hard to kind of tell what's going on. Like I thought they were chained to the ground. I didn't realize that they were chained like inside the tent fixture there.
Right.
But then we get a really cool attack from Arondir, who he like uses the chains to
Right, it's from the trailer.
yeah, to jump up, and now we kind of know. So in the trailer, I will say, I thought that was like a fighting pit,
Yeah.
and now we see that it's clearly this like labor camp. But yeah, so he does a nice move to kind of block a lot of them from coming through, but then they decide to send a lone warg in, and this is
And it look. You look at that warg. It looks almost like not a baby, but like it's not a fully grown warg.
yeah.
That's
There's
a
something.
warg.
You're right. There's something about it where it doesn't seem.
Its face seems young.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But then you're right. So these two, I don't know if they're elves though. So like these two people that might be elves, I can't see their ears very well.
I
But
think they're elves. Yeah.
One for sure is an elf. The guy that dies second for sure is an elf. But the lady that grabs the spear, I couldn't see her ears. She might have been an elf. But either way, they get taken out by this warg pretty easily. Then we get this crazy acrobatic scene. Arondir is still
Awesome
chained.
aerial.
So Arondir is still like dealing with this chain, unfortunately for him.
Mhm.
So
And-
yeah, he's got a lot to deal with. He's got this warg that he's trying to take out. He's got chains all wrapped around him. But the warden is breaking himself free and basically going to try to go get help, I guess, is the idea. This riot clearly didn't go very well because like it gets down to it, and it's just Arondir and the warden left out here. They really struggle, even though they took out a couple, and Arondir smashed the tent, meaning that the orcs couldn't come and get them. They still did not do very well, and we think they're gonna. Sorry, we think that they're gonna escape, but like Arondir's still chained, right? Like I don't understand. So he like runs up the cliff.
I think his chain is loose. It's just it's extended.
Oh, okay.
They can just grab his chain.
Oh, I see. So maybe that's what happens. They broke his chain, but it was just so long that he was able to use it to handle the warg. Okay. But yeah, then we get up there and we see the Watch Warden Revion, and he's been shot by an arrow, and you can see them in the distance in center frame actually.
Yep.
And it's something that so I didn't want to say this when we were at the scene initially, but when Arondir was up on that top, what did his elf eyes see? Could he not see these orcs?
Exactly, yeah.
Like I thought these guys had really good vision. So either these orcs planned the whole thing, essentially being like, okay, Arondir's gonna go cut this tree down. Everybody hide. He goes up, he looks around, doesn't see any orcs, and then they just go back up and stand watch over this kind of camp. Either way, though, they're on both sides because we see the orcs that shot the first arrow in front of us, and then when Revion turns to basically be like, uh-oh, we've lost, he turns to look at Arondir, and he gets hit with another arrow in the front.
And this is a Boromir callback.
Yeah. But Boromir took 3 and was like basically still going, so just wanted to give a shout out to my pal Boromir there. Good on you. No, he took 2 arrows with no armor. And they were both center of his chest, so he's done. Arondir gets pulled back in by the chain, like you said, probably just a long chain. And
before he gets killed, they before they're about to kill him, one of the orcs stops them and says, "We're gonna take him to Adar."
Yeah.
And there's we didn't bring this up, but there's a conversation earlier, even before the first water neck throat slashing incident, where they're talking about Adar, and the Watch Warden's surprised that orcs are capable of referencing like that.
Yeah.
And they discuss who Adar might be, like whether that's just another name for Sauron, and why are they referring to this person by an elven word?
That's so. Yeah, that was
And it makes me. And this is what I was thinking. Like maybe it is an elf. It's some sort of rogue evil elf leading them, or the fact that I know it's so complicated, but it goes back to the orcs were elves once. Maybe this is like one of those early elves that became an orc. I don't know. He's still going by his elf name.
True. Like we don't know in the Rings of Power how are orcs made. Are they just a separate race? Are they sort of like a Tolkien version of like a dark elf or like a tortured elf or something like that? You know what I mean? So we don't know what happens there. Now, in terms of Adar being both an elf word and potentially being Sauron, we know that Sauron is going to be similar to the elves because he, at least if we go by Tolkien and Peter Jackson films, he is able to trick the elves into making the rings. I mean, the show is the Rings of Power, so we know that he's got to at least have somewhat of a disposition and a complexion. Maybe complexion is the wrong word, but like features that would make him not seem threatening to the elf. But let us know in the comments down below what you guys thought, and we will hopefully see you guys next time. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.